Welcome to the Trevor Kashey Nutrition monthly Ask Me Anything. Every month, the TKN team of experts goes live inside our private Facebook group where people bring us their burning questions about nutrition, diet hacks, performance, and more, and we walk them through what actually works in the real world. If you want guidance that's tailored to you instead of generic advice, click the link below and schedule a call. We got you. Our first question today is for Huggy McNiff. I see a lot of questions about science-based lifting versus bro style. What is your takeaway on this?
Okay, this is a great question, and this is one of those ones that hurt my feelings the first time I dove into it, so it's going to hurt everybody else's feelings today too. So, very first thing I want to do is be able to set terms. Now, the only time a program is going to be critical to your progress is when you need to exhibit a specific attribute at a specific time on a specific day. Like if you're a bodybuilder, you need to look a specific way on show day. Or if you're a power lifter, I need to be able to bench or squat this amount on this day. If you're not competing, then it really doesn't matter. And at that point, what we need to be doing is just making sure that we're doing stuff that enhances our life. Are we having a good time? Are we staying injury free? Are we consistently showing up? Now, this is the part that hurts everybody's feelings. It really doesn't matter because if you were working as hard as you thought you were, you would be seeing results regardless. Like I have flat out just seen some lifters doing some dog shit, stupid things with some of the worst genetics, and they made unbelievable progress because they really just worked their ass off and believed in what they were doing. Like Ben, tell me, you've definitely seen some guys doing some dumb shit before that were just like, "How are you doing this?"
I mean, shit, I've done some dumb shit. Like, what are you talking about? I've done the dumb stuff. I've gone through cycles where I was squatting 3 days a week. I've gone through the cycle of where I was benching 3 days a week to the point that I couldn't uncurl my hand from the fucking bar. Like, I've been that guy. And so understanding that I also saw some incredible gains from that and because I was out there busting my butt, right? I was out there like almost I did bench 500 pounds at one point, right? And so understanding that I went in there, did some dumb stuff, but also worked hard because that's what your body responds to. It responds to the demands that you put on it. And so it responds and it grows to that stress. And so if you execute violently, work your tail off, you're gonna see results. So get in there, be as safe, injury free as possible, and work your tail off.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it. And from a woman's point of view, like when girls say, "Oh, I don't know why I'm not having my butt come in or my legs don't look like this," because I see you just gossiping at the water station at the gym the entire time. Actually, go work out and work on those items and don't complain about it if you don't have it, if you're not doing the work.
Well,
Next.
and juggernauts, like the women especially, are designed for this. Like, I mean, there is not a woman I know that cannot outwork a man, like 100%. Like they have the physical endurance, they have the physical capability, and I really hate how people try to hold them back with like, oh, here, we're just going to give you this tiny little dump. Dude, you can do so much more. Like, let's do this.
Yes, and multiple days in a row.
Right?
Women can do that. Yes. Okay, our next question. What do you think the most important skill is to develop with TKN? Ben, let's hear from you.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Persistence. Persistence to be consistent. Can you flex your skills across domains, right? Can you kind of suck down the fact that in these beginnings, these skills are going to be new and having the persistence to keep up with them, learn, iterate, adapt, and then start applying them in different contexts and different environments and understand that it's going to be rocky, but it's going to be a learning experience. And through that persistence, through that learning capability, you're going to learn how to flex those skills. And that persistence will allow you to be consistent within the domains. And so we always hear that I want to be consistent. Well, consistency got you exactly where you were. And so if that wasn't where you wanted, well, you should let's learn how to do something else, as Dr. K likes to say. And so you've learned one way, you can learn a different way. And being persistent in that application of learning your new skills is big. And I know Mrs. Masello talks all the time about this within our advanced program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The persistence to just keep showing up and doing that thing that you're working on is what's going to make you better. You're going to suck at it at first. You're going to have hard times. You could be doing and working on that one skill for a year, and you may not feel like you're making progress in the moment, and it can feel frustrating, but turning around the next day and just showing up and keeping after it, you will get it eventually. I think that's one of the biggest challenges I see across members is like, I'm not making progress fast enough. Keep showing up and practicing that skill every day. That's how you get guns, man. That's how you build those muscles, the mind included. So I agree with Ben 100%. And I know Huggy's got a few of those examples too.
Dude, well, I can just talk all day. Like, I mean, nobody needs to hear me completely go on about everything. I like, Allie, why don't we just go ahead and bump up to the next one? But otherwise, I'm just going to bore everybody here.
Okay. What is one habit that you've struggled to stick to and why? Nelson, let's hear it.
Absolutely. So this might be a little interesting, but I've struggled to stick to any habit, right? Like the reason why we're looking at it this way is because it hasn't actually been freaking established as a habit. We're looking at trying to create new routines and new habits in place of ones that probably aren't serving us anymore. And so, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to fit right away. And so when we're looking at replacing something that maybe isn't serving us anymore, this is where we want to say what's going to help us to solidify that structure, to solidify that habit and that skill. That's where the rewards come in. That's where we talk about it all the time for you guys to shout yourselves out in the one body group, have the affiliations around. Make sure that you're making a big deal out of the small stuff. We say it all the time. Sweating the small stuff is super critical because what you're doing right now is you're trying to unravel years and years and years of reinforcement of a specific habit to replace it with something that maybe you just picked up this week. And it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to just do. It's not going to happen that easily. It's going to take a little bit of time. Huggy, what you got for this, dude? I know that the habit reinforcement is a
Again,
struggling one.
I love to talk about habits, but I just got to call it out because Nelson got frozen on some amazingly funny faces, and it took his video a minute to catch up. So
I'm
I was
always
like sitting
funny.
here. Okay, but guys, exactly what Nelson was saying is like the reason that we are having problems with these new habits is because we have not trained them yet. And so it's looking for those areas that we can give ourselves the opportunity to train these things. And then also making sure that we manage our expectations on the opposite side of it. Because where do we usually get frustrated where these new habits are not serving us? It's usually around holidays or events that you only train very, very infrequently. How often do you get the opportunity to prepare for somebody's funeral? Hopefully not that often. Like I hope nobody is getting a chance to practice how I'm going to eat and show up at a funeral that often. But these are all things to take into account. Is like, hey, if I want to get good at something, I need to give myself the opportunity to show up and practice being good at it first.
I love that, Huggy. Yes, completely agree. Uh, our next question is for Mel Masello. What is one decision you make ahead of time that makes staying on plan easier?
I am a huge fan of anything that reduces mental demand and makes things easier to execute. And the number one way that I do that for intake is planning my meals the night before and logging them ahead of time. Does that mean you have to have 1,000 Tupperwares in your refrigerator all stacked up and ready to go? Heck no. It just means you know what you're going to eat the next day, about how much you're going to eat, about what time you're going to eat it, and then you just wake up and you execute that plan. It takes the mental demand completely out of it. So you're not having to guess all day and then struggle at night and be like, oh, how I went over my targets. How did that happen? You already got it in your plan. You're already ready to execute. You just show up and go. I know Ben has dealt with this a few times with some of his members. What are some techniques that you've
Heck
seen,
yeah.
man?
Heck yeah. I am a big fan about embracing the boring stuff, right? So that decision of how you outlook your system, right? And understanding that those simple things done repeatedly over time is one, how you get better at it, two, how you actually achieve some pretty damn cool results because those small skills, those small behaviors. So embracing that system that you know works in the four pillars, sleep, hydration, nutrition, activity, done repeatedly. And if you found a system that works, keep working it. Like novelty is great. Novelty is great. Keep it fresh. Like absolutely change some small details within, but embrace the nuance of being consistent and embrace that boring stuff, because through that repetition is how you make some pretty damn cool results.
And I will say,
Absolutely.
Mr. Cello said you don't need to do 1,000 Tupperwares, but if you're autistic and that gets you off like it does me, you definitely do 1,000 Tupperwares. Like it is awesome to be able to have everything stacked up and be like, oh yeah, I'm all set. It is
I,
dope.
I mean, God knows you need about 1,000 protein shakers, because you're gonna forget one in the back of your car, and you're gonna be like, it might as well just go in the trash now. Like you got to have
That's just it.
backups.
And they need to be fronted perfectly too, because like
Absolutely. You got to color match them.
Huggy, I feel that. I like having everything lined up and organized. Yes.
it's not like grocery shopping late at night because everything's like just in perfect order. You're like, oh, dude, this is amazing.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. I am going to take charge of this next question because I love it so much. Party time. I'm throwing a party this weekend and I know I'm going to want to have a few drinks and eat a few of my favorite foods. How should I plan my day? Is it okay to go over? Now, this question is very appropriate for this week because the Super Bowl is this weekend. And a lot of people have Super Bowl parties, even if they don't like football. They go because the food is so good, right? And the drinks and getting together with friends and family. So there's a couple options here. I'll tell you what I do. Um, Two options. Either I eat before and I eat after because I'd rather watch the game, or find out what food they're going to have at the party you're going to, talk to the host or the hostess, and see if you can bring something that you can share with other people that you know that you would eat. If there's something there that you want, then plan it into your day, put it in your tracker ahead of time, front load that protein so you reach your protein targets before you even get there. So then you can just fill the rest with fat and carbohydrates, protein if you want. There's so many ways to do this. Ben, what would you do?
I would look at, like, understand that that party is going to be a few hours out of your day. And so once you start breaking it down into more bite-sized chunks and understanding, like, okay, I can think about this event in context. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 hours out of my day. Well, you got 8 hours plus or whatever that might be on the left side and the right side of that event. So if you can control leading into the event, and then you've built in some plan and some buffer within that plan of to be able to work that plan to stay as close as you can on target, absolutely do it. Because like we tend to think of that as a kind of an all or nothing thing. I'm going to party, so I'm going to party all day. And it's like, are you actually? And so, as Huggy says, stick to the facts. You're going to have a party for about 4 hours. And so, how do we maintain control, and how do we maintain making informed decisions that work within our plan for that 4 hour stint?
That's a great way to think about it, Ben. It's just a 4 hour part of one day, one whole day. Yeah, that's awesome. And Huggy, did you want to touch on the drinking part of that? Because I personally don't drink. I know a lot of people do.
Okay, I appreciate that. Since everybody knows that I'm like the biggest drinker here, yes, I will go ahead and talk about the alcohol portion of this. Okay, so alcohol is a slippery slope. Like I've mentioned this before, it is one of my favorite things to do. But unfortunately, when you have physique goals or you have performance goals, it's probably not something that you should be participating in. Alcohol is purely a celebratory thing, and it is a toxin. Whenever you are doing, it is poisoning your body. And I know there is all sorts of different studies that show, oh, there's this health benefit for this and that. All of those things can be achieved with much lower hanging fruit by doing something much simpler. So if we're sitting here looking at incorporating alcohol, it's simply because I want to. I like the feeling of this. Hey, I get to abdicate responsibility and act like a goof for a couple hours. These are all fine as long as we can manage our expectations around it. And understand that anytime you decide to poison your body, you're going to lose progress during this time. So are you at a point where you can say, I'm comfortably cool losing 2 to 4 weeks worth of progress? I'm comfortable watching myself just kind of slip backwards. And if you're not at this point, then hey, maybe I shouldn't be drinking and I can save it for a point that there is that little bit of leeway and I have that confidence. But dude, I just understand. I absolutely love drinking. I'm never going to tell anybody not to, but I just want you to be aware of everything surrounding it because it is an emotional thing. And unfortunately, a lot of the effects of alcohol are not immediately apparent. Dr. K always tells us that if we got the hangover right after drinking that first drink, you would see a lot less people sitting there going on to that second drink. But the fact is that we don't get the hangover to the next morning. So the behaviors that are being reinforced can kind of get confused along the way.
Yeah, beautifully said, Huggy. Our next question, I feel like I'm always being asked, what's the plan? Do I always need to be planning? Ben, what you got on this one?
Hate to break it to you, is you're pretty much always planning. Like, it's just whether you think about it or not. Like, even if it's as simple as like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Well, you're making a plan. You gotta get up, you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta open up like you're always planning, right? Now it's just the bandwidth that you're putting into that plan, right? And so we start asking the plan to force that deliberate that thought process, right? Because that deliberateness is how you build that repetition. Where a lot of people is the contingency planning. And so understanding that when we ask, what's the plan? It's to help you understand, well, what happens if XYZ thing occurs when you get asked, hey, what the heck are you doing? You look like you've changed, right? We're asking you so that you can have that plan and that conversation ahead of time so that you're not stressed out thinking about it on the fly. And so you can just brush it off and be like, hey, this is my plan. This is how I'm going to respond to this situation so that you're not having to come up with it during that valuable time of frustration tolerance and you can make a more informed decision and save your frustration tolerance for those unexpectedness. Huggy, I know you've got tons of experience in contingency planning.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to point out is, did anybody else notice that as soon as Ben said plan to use the bathroom, that both Nelson and I just decided to start fidgeting in our chairs all of a sudden? Like, oh my God, I forgot to plan for that before this call. Like, but dude, Ben nailed it, guys. Like, exactly. Like, we are already planning. Why not plan more precisely? Why not plan to be successful? The reason that we sit here and we have all these types of emotional turmoil around these types of things is because you already assigned a value to it. You already have sitting there and said, hey, it's worth this thing to me. And if I don't sit here and precisely track it and I don't precisely plan for it, well, now it grows in my head because I already just emotionally assigned a value. So it just makes sense that, hey, I can be as precise as possible, and that allows me to be as successful as possible. Does that mean I need to plan for every single minute of every single day? Not at all. But if I have a template and I know what's going on at any given time, that's going to improve my probability of being successful.
So true. I actually fidgeted a little bit when he said about the bathroom too, because I did not, you just didn't notice, I guess. All right. Another question. Will I learn how to do my own nutritional adjustments with TKN? Will you teach me how to do a fat loss or muscle gain phase, etc.? Who's got this one for us? Jump in.
Okay, this is one of my favorite ones because this is one of those ones that if people would actually shift their perspective and put it in context of their own profession, you would realize how hurtful this sounds. Like, could you imagine hiring a lawyer and being like, hey, I would like you to handle my divorce for me, but I want you to teach me how to do it so that way I can handle the next one myself and I know I don't have to come see you. Or going to your car mechanic and being like, dude, you've done an amazing job doing my oil changes for the last couple of years. Would you mind just teaching me how to do all the basic maintenance so I don't have to bring my car back to you anymore? Your mechanic would just laugh you out of the fucking garage. It's just not going to happen. And so, using that metaphor and using that context, what we can look at is TKN is a program that's going to teach you basic maintenance around the machine that you're currently driving. We're going to teach you how to do the oil change. We're going to teach you how to do all these things, keep the fluids topped up, make sure that everything is in working order. But if you want to undertake a big project, like, hey, I would like to go ahead and suit my car up, I would like to go through a big restoration. Well, what would you do in the real life? You would go hire an expert to go ahead and oversee that project. Or you would understand that I'm going to be spending years of time on YouTube and acquiring this knowledge to be able to do it myself. And so just put it in that exact same context for these skills that you are trying to accumulate within TKN. What is it going to take for me to be able to do my own fat loss? Do I have awareness of my own environment? Do I have control over my own environment? Am I able to do all these different things? But that's what we want to teach you. And then once you're competent with basic maintenance, what do most of us usually find? Well, hey, I actually don't need to soup up my car. I actually didn't look for anything beyond it. It just turned out that I wasn't taking very good care of it. And once I'm actually keeping up with it, boom, my life is great. And so that's what I want you guys to approach this is not that you need to learn how to do this, because a lot of us are like, hey, I would like to learn how to do a fat loss phase, because what happens if I mess this up and I leave? So instead of focusing on the messing it up, let's look at making sure we are learning the skills. And if it takes you a little bit longer to get the results because you're really learning those skills and getting them ingrained, well, that's even better because that means your results are more inclined to stick. Now, Ben, go ahead and talk to everybody a little bit about that one.
I mean, shit, I've been with Dr. K since what, 20 I've known Dr. K since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, been with Dr. K since 2016, like, and I'm still learning stuff, right? And so that's a big thing is like, do you even want to, right? Do you even want to spend the bandwidth on this, right? Because a lot of people are professionals. You got other shit to worry about, family, whatever your job is, tons of other things. Do you want to spend that extra little bit of bandwidth coming up with your own training, with your own targets, planning them out? Like having somebody that their sole purpose in life is to watch you succeed in this area of nutrition and skill set is pretty damn cool. But then it is also going to be there for you and help support you through those tough times. When the cat runs away, when the dog runs away, during the summertime, when all you want to do is live it up, right? And understand, is it in your best interest to go, hey man, that's a kind of a silly idea to do that right now. Like, let's not do that. If you want to, I'll support you through it, but understanding that during life's dynamicness, sometimes it's good to keep things simple. And so having somebody that is just kind of a check and balance is like, it's also the benefit of having a coach long term. Because I've had a coach for a long time. I remember one of the times that I was training for an event, Dr. K was like, you don't need a coach to tell you how to get in shape. You need a coach to tell you when you're being stupid.
Yes.
That's so true. And also, like the greatest athletes in the world have coaches. Like Tiger Woods has a golf coach. LeBron James has a basketball coach. It's very beneficial, no, to have someone looking out for you and your goals with you. We have a question in the chat, you guys. How to handle physical setbacks. Started to work out with short workouts and walking, and bam, injury.
Okay, I'm going to jump in on this one just because I'm the most chronically injured person here. And I'm going to go ahead and let Nelson chime in because he is just a genius when it comes to a lot of rehab stuff. So, no, very first thing I will say is that a lot of us sit here and end up in this program because we jump into a program that we haven't conditioned ourselves for. It's like, hey, I would love to be able to go working out, but how do I get from the I've only been sitting on the couch to now I'm going to be going to the gym a couple days a week? And it's making sure that you can bridge that gap. So right now, Lorena, if you started with the workouts and you started with the walking and that led to the injury, then let's go ahead and just scale that back a little bit. Let's just go ahead and start with the walking. And once we've got the walking and we've done that for 2 weeks consistently, we've nailed every single workout, then we can go ahead and add in the next ingredient. And let's say our overall goal is like, hey, we would like to be able to do 3 weight workouts every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, for the first week, let's make sure that we just get that Monday workout in. Once we've successfully done that, then next week we can look at doing Monday, Wednesday. And once we've done that, we've said, oh, dude, so far injury free, we're good to go. Well, then the third week we can be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we can assess, was I able to recover from that? Yeah, I'm still feeling good after 3 workouts a week. I'm still keeping up with my walks. Injury is good. And then you can continue to just progress from there. So most of us, when we end up in this situation, it's usually just that we bite off too much too fast. And so just taking a couple steps back and taking a little bit more time as you build up is definitely going to be what I would recommend. But I will defer to Nelson on this because he's helped me out with a lot of injuries. So what else you got, bud?
All right, so Lorena, first thing, based off your question, how to handle physical setbacks. I'm going to come at this in two different ways. First off, I always look at any type of injury or physical setback as data collection of the way that my body is currently running, and it's not sustaining for the life you want to live, right? The other way I would look at this is frustration tolerance, because I have had many injuries in the past, and anytime I've had an injury, it's everything has to go out the window and everything sucks. And so I've dislocated my ankle. I talked about this on a roadblock call, I think last week. And immediately I was like, I did this. I can't work out. I can't do this. I'm a big old baby about it. And Mrs. Kashey was my coach at the time. She was like, great, I'll just build you an upper body program. And just having somebody that was like positive but reframed it helped me immensely to know during those times, like even though you're going through injuries, it's part of the freaking process. You are undoing a lot of things that you've done to your body over countless years. You're starting to get familiar with yourself, familiar with how you move, your proprioception. And so it's just part of it. So I actually look at physical setbacks as a good part of the process. It's almost like a check engine light on your car. It's letting you know something's kind of wrong there and it's not going to run as effectively as you want it to. But now you get to play with it. And that's what we get to do in like the advanced programs is we can put together specific programs that help you move better, that make it easier for you to do the things that you want to continue doing. And I actually love seeing the physical setbacks because I know exactly how to work on that shit. It's great.
Guys, I'm going to give you the top secret tip if we're just going to go ahead and approach this from a tactical standpoint that Dr. K gave me for all of these things. Because as I've said, I have broken every single thing in my body at one point or another. Now, one of the best things that he gave to me was to give yourself the space to act like a child and throw a temper tantrum. And so, what he used to have me do was he had me set a timer and he said, hey, during this time, you can go ahead and throw a temper tantrum. You can go kick rocks. You can punch a hole in the wall until that timer goes off. But once that timer goes off, it's time to punch the clock and get back to work. And what you were going to find, guys, is that it is amazing to be able to take that opportunity and validate being able to be in a bad mood. Because, dude, it sucks when you're injured. Things are not going your way. It is just unbelievably difficult to say, I need to reposition, need to frame things. But giving yourself the space to say, okay, it does suck, and I am giving myself the opportunity to succeed is obviously a great way to grow your autonomy. So I really would like to recommend that Dr. K's punch the clock, alarm clock trick whenever you're in those situations.
Great tip, Huggy. That was it for today. So thank you so much for joining us for this month's TKN Live AMA. If you are ready to start making decisions on purpose and with purpose to build a life worth living, click the link below and schedule a call.